You know, there's been many tragedies in hockey over the years, but the way this guy has been neglected by the Hockey Hall of Fame, he's been recognized by numerous guilds and halls of fame, including BC, for being the first non-white and non-North American Aboriginal athlete to make it to the NHL. Now, the Hockey Hall of Fame inducted a whole bunch of new people recently, some deserving candidates. But this guy, there's been people lobbying for him to be in a Hall of Fame literally for years. And just like Sakamoose and Jim Nielsen, yes, Willie O'Ree's in, but this guy deserves as much recognition as Willie O'Ree. So today we're going to repeat the sad tale of Larry Kwong. Should be in a Hockey Hall of Fame. Now, Lawrence Kwong, born in Kai Gong, hope I'm pronouncing that right, passed away in March 2018. He was a Canadian professional ice hockey right winger. He was the first player of Chinese descent to play in the NHL, playing a short shift at the end of the third period of his only game with the Rangers. He was NHL's first player, was neither white nor Aboriginal North American, debuting 10 years before Willie O'Ree. Although denied much playing time in the NHL, he was a top player in the senior hockey leagues outside the NHL throughout his entire career and battled the likes of Jean Beliveau for the scoring race in Quebec. Now, born in Vernon, he was the second youngest of 15 children born to his Cantonese-speaking father, who had two wives. Now, he was also the first NHL player from Vernon, British Columbia, and the Okanagan region. Kwong's nicknames included China Clipper and King Kwong. After his playing days, he became the first ethnic Chinese coach of a pro hockey club in Switzerland. In his later years, he returned to Canada, operated a supermarket, following in his father's footsteps. Now, someone on the front lines of trying to get Larry into the Hall of Fame has been a good friend of my New Brunswick Independent Authors Association, the author and educator Chad Soon. Chad and I have spoke several times on the importance of keeping the ball rolling to let Larry get in there. Now, I asked him about a week ago his thoughts on Larry not getting in, and he was very candid. Now, according to Chad, the campaign towards Larry getting in has been a slow build, but almost 18 years for me. The Canucks, Flames, and Kraken have been very supportive of our efforts. Chad, of course, has wrote a book and has the Larry Kwong Appreciation Society as one of his efforts online. The NHL showed major interest in 2021, screening Larry's documentary The Shift internally and producing a video that told more of his story. I've had ongoing talks with the Rangers, but that's been tricky. Their centennial years coming up, and what they chose to do with Larry's story will be very telling. Stan Fischler, the great writer, doesn't mince words. Posting last year on X, I watched Larry star for the New York Rangers farm team, the Rovers, for 2 years. He was super. He got the rawest of all raw deals with the blue shirts. Only one shift at the Forum, end of debut, end of NHL career. A total unforgivable disgrace. Larry's petition towards the Hall of Fame has well over 12,000 signatures, but I don't know if he made an impression with the Hall of Fame Selection Committee. At least Larry's Nanaimo Clipper sweater is on display in the shrine now. I feel like all we can do is keep trying to raise Larry's profile in different media. Groups like Hockey for Youth and Make Us Visible are pushing for more recognition. A stumbling block for us is that the NHL and the Rangers are not comfortable with the idea that Larry's exclusion was not just society's fault, but a decision made by the original 6 teams. That doesn't sit well with me, but I'm trying not to be adversarial. Larry deserves justice. He deserves for the truth to be told. Such an acknowledgement from the top would get a lot of more people to consider his place in the game and his place in the Hall. Now, in my media associates in the Maritimes, we believe Larry Kwong should have got in 30 years ago. But the problem is we're not part of the selection committee. But to show you a little bit of his resume, now he was only 5'6", 150, a good right winger. His 18-year career in hockey brought him everywhere. We're not talking coaching. Now, on-ice achievements, he was a BC Midget Hockey title winner in 39, BC Provincial Juvenile title winner in 41, leading scorer for the infamous Trail Smoke Eaters in 46, Savage Cup winner in 46, scored the cup-winning goal, leading scorer in the New York Rovers in 48, 86 points in 65 games, a top minor league team for Rangers at the time. Bingham Vimy Trophy winner as the MVP of the Quebec League, leader assists with 51, second in points with 85, third in scoring goals at 34. He won the QSL Championship in that 51 campaign. Now, the Alexander Cup winner in 51, the Cup is a Canadian national major senior ice hockey title championship. He was second in QSHL league scoring with 38 goals, only behind Jean Beliveau. And you know what he did there? He bought the league. He also had 55 goals in 55 games for the Nottingham Panthers at age 35. Now, awards, again, BC Sports Hall of Fame, Calgary Asian Heritage Month Award winner in 2002, Heritage Award from the Society of North American Historians and Researchers in 2009, 2010 Okanagan Hockey Group's inaugural Pioneer Award in 2010, 2011 he was named to the Okanagan Sports Hall of Fame in the athlete category. Again, honored member of the BC Sports Hall of Fame, honored member of the Alberta Hockey Hall of Fame, and he also has a game-worn Nanaimo Clippers sweater, which hangs at the Hockey Hall of Fame as part of the exhibit, The Changing Face of Hockey, Diversity in Our Game. He was honored by the Vernon Vipers of the BCHL in the pregame ceremony in 2009 and saluted by the Flames of the NHL at the Saddledome that same year. Now, Kwong's story is featured in the documentary film Lost Years, A People's Struggle for Justice, written, directed, and produced by Ken DeGee and Tom Bradford. The Shift, 2014, the documentary, The Story of the China Clipper, by Chester Sitt, Wes Miro, and Tracy Nagai. King Kwong, Larry Kwong, the China Clipper, a biography by our great member of the association, Paula Johnson, was published. And of course, the children's book got much fanfare last year, The Longest Shot, How Larry Kwong Changed the Face of Hockey, a biography by Chad and Drad Chun and George Shang, was published by Orca Book Publishing. Now, his time in hockey, most of the Q League was for the Valleyfield Braves, although he did play for the Trois-Rivières Lyon for one season. Also played in the IHL with the Troy Bruins, and also OHA Senior League, the Cornwall Chevys, and Nottingham in the British group for 31 games. QSHL totals, Quebec Senior League, 496 points in 494 games, 250 encounters. He had 5 consecutive seasons with 20 goals or more, so and had 7 out of 8. Now, Andong Song, the first Chinese-born hockey player to be drafted by an NHL team, the Islanders, was in the news recently as well. Other top flight players, Peter Ring, of course, and Willie O'Ree. Now, his one game in the NHL should have been dozens or hundreds. But the thing is, discrimination was still happening a lot in that era. Larry Kwong has been an inspiration to me from the time I learned about his story. And I tell you, maybe Chad doesn't know this because we talk on a frequent basis. My father told me about Larry Kwong when I was 7 years old. And he said when Jean Beliveau retired, he said there was a Chinese player just as good as Jean Beliveau. I said, Dad, who was that? Larry Kwong. He said, the Clipper. He called him the Clipper. So Chad Soon, Paula Johnson, all the great people are fighting on Larry Kwong's behalf. If anybody listening to this wants to help out the situation, call your MLA, call your MP, call your politician in your hometown. If you have people of Asiatic descent to make a large contribution, get Larry Kwong in the Hockey Hall of Fame. It's never too late. Although he's passed away, posthumous honors are strong too. Larry Kwong has been such a legacy coach, player, inspiration for many years. To not have him there with the people, maybe not as good as him, and are in there. There's people in the Hall of Fame he's much better than, and I'm not going to mince words. A lot of people don't deserve to be a Hockey Hall of Fame, and I'm looking at you, Alan Eagleson, and some of the Trump supporters, they should have their support taken out. You know what I'm talking about. But like you look at Jim Nielsen, one of the best Aboriginal players of all time, one of the best defensive players of all time, also a New York Ranger. So again, Chad, thank you so much for helping this podcast. If you like what you're doing here, leave a comment and tell me if you had memories of Larry Kwong growing up, when you heard about him and when you heard about his legacy. Let me know what you think. And if you are Asiatic descent, just know that we hear you, we see you, and one of these days I will be proud to say Larry Kwong, Hockey Hall of Fame member. So ladies and gentlemen, if you like what you're doing with our Sports File podcast, let us know with a like, comment, subscribe, or share.